Welcome back to the program. Today we will continue with the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 1, verse 18, all the way to chapter 2, verse 12. And I'm reading from the English Standard Version. Now, the birth of Jesus Christ took place in this way. When his mother Mary had been betrothed to Joseph before they came together, she was found to be with child from the Holy Spirit. And her husband Joseph, being a just man and unwilling to put her to shame, resolved to divorce her quietly. But as he considered these things, behold, an angel of the Lord appeared to him in a dream, saying, Joseph, son of David, do not fear to take Mary as your wife, for that which is conceived in her is from the Holy Spirit. She will bear a son, and you shall call his name Jesus, for he will save his people from their sins. All this took place to fulfill what the Lord has spoken by the prophet. Behold, the virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and they shall call his name Immanuel, which means God with us. When Joseph woke from sleep, he did as the angel of the Lord commanded him. He took his wife, but knew her not until she had given birth to a son, and he called his name Jesus. Now, after Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea, in the days of Herod the king, behold, wise men from the east came to Jerusalem, saying, Where is he who has been born King of the Jews? For we saw his star when he rose, and have come to worship him. When Herod the king heard this, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. And assembling all the chief priests and scribes of the people, he inquired of them where the Christ was to be born. And they told him, In Bethlehem of Judea. For so it is written by the prophet, And you, O Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are by no means least among the rulers of Judah. For from you shall come a ruler who will shepherd my people Israel. Then Herod summoned the wise men secretly, and ascertained from them what time the star had appeared. And he sent them to Bethlehem, saying, Go and search diligently for the child, and when you have found him, bring me word, that I too may come and worship him. After listening to the king, they went on their way, and behold, the star that they had seen when he rose went before them until he came to rest over the place where the child was. When they saw the star, they rejoiced exceedingly with great joy, and going into the house, they saw the child with Mary his mother, and they fell down and worshipped him. Then opening their treasures, they offered him gifts, gold and frankincense and myrrh. And being warned in a dream not to return to Herod, they departed to their own country by another way. Well, Joseph and Mary were betrothed, which means they were in a year-long contract to be married. And this contract could only be terminated by divorce, which Joseph was willing to do to protect Mary from public disgrace or even death. However, God intervenes with the dream, and Joseph decides not to proceed with the divorce. The phrase, he knew her not until, implies that after the until, which means the birth of the child, Joseph knew Mary intimately. The second chapter starts with a specific place, Bethlehem, and a specific time, the days of Herod. Now, Bethlehem was located 6 miles south of Jerusalem, and it means city of bread, and becomes the birthplace where the Word became flesh, the city of the living bread. Even though Herod the Great enlarged the Holy Temple and built many other structures, he was hated by the Jewish people because he was not a legitimate Jew. He was an Edomite from the dynasty of Esau instead of Jacob. He was known for his brutality. Hear this. He killed his wife and 2 sons, and before his death, he imprisoned 70 Judean elders that he ordered to be executed upon his death to ensure Judea would mourn for him. Oh man, he was really wacky. Definitely an unstable ruler, to say the least. And next we have the Magi. In some translation, they're called the three wise men. And we often assume that there were three because of the three gifts that they brought. But the exact number is not clear. They likely traveled in a caravan as far away as 620 miles. And according to the Western Church tradition, the three magi were Balthasar from Arabia, Melchior from Persia, and Gaspar from India. And most likely, they were astronomer or astrologist, followers of Zoroaster, and therefore they were pagans. And despite their backgrounds, though, they recognized that a new king had arrived, and they were ready to worship him because of the significance of the star. Herod's fear is understandable because he sees his throne threatened with the arrival of a new king. But why is the rest of Jerusalem troubled, as we read in verse 3? Well, given Herod's mental instability, people were probably fearful of his reaction to any perceived threat. I found it intriguing that Herod gathers the priests and the scribes to inquire about the birthplace of Messiah, and without missing a beat, they knew there was Bethlehem, and they even quoted the prophet Micah. So hidden in plain sight, so close and yet so far. The Magi traveled for months to reach Bethlehem to worship, but the locals who had the Messiah under their noses missed him completely. And this reflects a broader reality. Those who earnestly seek the truth will find Christ, while those who are self-centered will miss him even when he is right in front of them. When the Magi arrived, they went to a house, no longer a manger, and they found Paidion, or the child in Greek, which differs from brephos, the infant. And therefore we speculate it was quite some time after Jesus' birth. We also notice that they fell down as a symbol of submission and worshiped Jesus. The spiritual significance of the gifts is as follows. Gold represents royalty, purity, and Jesus as king. Frankincense, which is a costly incense that is used in worship, represents Jesus as worthy of worship. And myrrh, a sweet-smelling resin, is used in preserving bodies for burial and represents Jesus' death. Reflection. Pagans travel as far as 800 miles to seek the truth. How far are you willing to go to deepen your relationship with Christ? Have a fantastic day, and I will see you tomorrow.